Police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year. As of today, according to the D.C. Police website, crime is down 25%, a decrease the chairman of the police union calls preposterous. The union's allegations come as the former commander of the 3rd District stands accused of doing what the union says is being done day in and day out.
That's preposterous. There's absolutely no way crime could be down 28%. Last year, they suggested that it went down 34%.
The big story of the day is Donald Trump making D.C. great again, or rather making D.C. safe again, as he employs the National Guard to come in and help out local police in terms of fighting crime. Now, this is something that, of course, the left doesn't really agree with because they're saying that, oh, violent crime is down. Overall crime is down. It's the safest it's ever been. But as I just showed you before, a lot of these crime stats are being altered, manipulated, or, of course, subdued. And what we learned today from Axios is that, yes, a lot of certain types of crimes were actually not being recorded. Specifically, violent assaults, which have actually been rising every year since 2022. And how does that affect your data and statistics? And of course, the crime is actually so bad that even people in the mainstream media are willing to acknowledge it.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and yeah, usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, oh, well, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here.
I want to read you a text from someone who, I won't say their name, but they're, we'll just say that they're very liberal. And he says, this may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in D.C. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had too many friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes. Quite a change from a decade ago when things were much calmer. Well, that actually sounds like the D.C. that I lived in when I lived a block behind the Supreme Court. And, every 3 days, one of my neighbors was getting held up at gunpoint. I mean, there has been a crime problem in D.C. At the same time, obviously, a lot of concerns.
So yes, even the left is starting to fess up that we are the victims of crime as well. We've experienced crime. We've seen crime. We've had it happen to other people and close acquaintances. So we can't deny the reality. And never mind the statistics, never mind the talking points, because obviously these things can be falsified. But either way, what's the truth on the ground? It's really bad there in D.C. And it took this attack on big balls to really set the whole thing off. And Donald Trump is now swooping in to save the day because he actually does have that federal authority. However, still when faced with the facts of undeniable violence happening in D.C., some people are still going to balk and try to make excuses, as we're going to see over here on CNN with Scott Jennings.
A few months ago, I was in Union Station and saw a body hit the floor at the bottom of the escalator in Union Station because there was a murder right in front of me. Up on the 2nd floor, I was going to get a tie, and I heard the shots and saw the body hit the floor. So I've been listening all day long to people trying to make some argument that Washington, D.C. is a safe place. It's not a safe place. And we can argue about statistics and numbers. There's a police commander right now on suspension because there's some allegation that the statistics have been altered. But we can argue about that all day long. Nobody in their right mind who lives there or visits there on a regular basis would tell you that Washington, D.C. is safe, and everybody who goes there knows it, and everybody who goes there knows it.
I don't know that anybody's saying that Washington, D.C. is a panacea of no crime.
Have you been to CVS?
Hold on.
It's bad.
Hey, hold on a second. I lived in D.C. for a long time, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not a panacea of no crime. But I think the point made by Tara, and we have the data, the most dangerous places in the United States, D.C. is not in the top 10 list.
Have you ever seen a body drop in the
one?
Because they have a higher murder rate than Washington, D.C. does.
The number 1 place
in your
is
home
Memphis,
state.
Tennessee. So I guess the point is There are a lot of places actually in this country that are very dangerous, maybe more dangerous than DC.
I mean, in terms of homicide rates, it was fourth highest last year. But
we're
talking about now.
Lots of places that are dangerous in this country, but Trump is clearly using DC to make a point about having the National Guard roving the National Mall, where there are, last I checked, no crimes really being committed on the National Mall. And that's not where the crime is. I mean, if he sends the National Guard or, FBI agents to Southeast and Southwest, that would be saying something. But
they're
trying to show something
is
to
there
the
really,
public.
Is there really going to be a resistance to have any kind of people on the street just looking out? The kid that worked at the White House, when he got jumped by the 10 kids in the street gang, it was only because two cops saw it that he was able to escape.
So Scott Jennings, of course, himself is witnessing the bodies hit the floor in D.C. He knows firsthand how violent it can be. But Abby Phillips, what she's going to say? It's not even in the top 10 most violent cities. However, in terms of homicide, guess what? It's number 4 as of last year. And that, of course, is without some of the data most likely being reported to the FBI from some of these corrupt police officials. But the problems actually run much deeper than that. Check this out from Judge Jeanine.
Why take such extreme measures to fight crime now?
Well, I think that there is a crime emergency in D.C. And, people say, well, crime is down from last year. Well, so what? Last year, crime was too high. We had the 4th largest, highest homicide rate in the nation. I mean, so let's stop, namby-pambying this. What we've got in this great city, and the president has a constitutional obligation to make sure that this city is safe. And he is doing just that by today deploying the National Guard and making sure that there is enough armed forces, enough forces with the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, the National Guard, to make sure that we send a message to young people and criminals throughout the district that we are watching you, that it's not going to be the same old, that we are taking crime seriously. Because just like I know, if you live in this area, that there are too many young people committing crimes. They're emboldened to commit crimes because they know they're too young to be arrested. If you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you shoot someone in the District of Columbia, I cannot prosecute you. And I'm not just talking about federal crimes. I'm talking about my job as a local DA. Unless you kill that person, I cannot handle the case at all. And young people know it. And that's why we had an intern who went out for ice cream who got shot in the chest last month, an intern in college. We had another individual who was beat down, and but for the grace of God, a cop car drove by, he would have been beaten more severely. He had a broken nose and a severe concussion. 12 and 13-year-old trying to break into the car with a woman in the car that he was trying to protect. And we've got young people in this city. I named them on a bulletin board that I'm happy to show you, who have been murdered with guns, where there isn't even a prosecution because the shooters haven't been found or they're too young. So it's about time we recognize that this is something that is sorely needed. And the decision by the president to restore law and order is one that I would think that most law-abiding citizens in D.C. would be very happy about.
All right, you just pointed out that much of the crime here that's happening in our nation's capital is committed by, and this is the term you've used, young thugs. You've said that a lot. So
I said young punks. Yeah.
Young punks, okay.
Yeah.
So what will happen with these minors now?
Okay, what we're going to do is we are now going to move to get the D.C. Council to change their Youth Rehabilitation Act, the Incarceration Reduction Act, and their Record Sealing Act. The D.C. Council has done nothing but draft legislation and pass laws that literally erase the ability of judges to sentence individuals appropriately. So if a 19-year-old gets on a public bus, imagine yourself on this bus. It's a public bus. There's a family on the bus. He comes on the bus with an illegal gun, shoots someone in the chest. What does that tell you? In the chest, that is an intent to kill. The kid doesn't die who's shot. The judge sentences this 19-year-old with an illegal gun to what? To probation for a couple of years, says go to college. No, this is unacceptable. And what we've got to do now is we've got to lower the age. We've got to lower the age to 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. Because if these kids, even if they are arrested and they go to family court, what is the focus? The focus is rehabilitation. What is rehabilitation? You can go to yoga. You can go to an ice cream social. No, let's stop playing games. People's lives are impacted. People who work in the district are afraid to go out at night. Congress people's family members are not interested in coming here. The people who live here and don't have their own protection deserve to be protected. And that's what the president's going to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
So as usual, it's leftist policies, leftist leniency that is leading to this stuff which is completely out of control. You have kids as young as 12 and 13 going out and committing attempted murders. Now, I understand the desire to treat youth offenders by a different standard, but we're not talking about shoplifting here. We're talking about armed robbery, carjackings, guns are involved, attempted murders are happening with these young people, okay? And that is something completely different. Rehabilitation, sure, but rehabilitate from jail. This is something that needs to happen. If you want to stop crime, you prosecute crime. Otherwise, you're sending a message that nothing is going to happen to you in DC. And of course, Judge Shapiro over here and Donald Trump are not having any more of it. And thank goodness it's happening. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.